When I was preparing this week, I came up with a whole bunch of stories that would fit to open this homily, and I couldn't decide which one, so I said, well, maybe I could just tell them all. But that might take a while. So, here's what I decided on. When I got into formation to become a deacon, when I received my letter from the bishop saying that I was accepted, one of the first things they told us was, don't go out and buy an alb. Okay? It says, but just because you're accepted into the program doesn't mean you're going to be ordained. So that's why they said, don't go out and buy an alb. Well, formation is supposed to take 5 years. My class was good. We went 5.5. So we get to class and we start, and the director, the deacon who was in charge, puts a committee together from the group to come up with our first vestment. So you're sitting there thinking, and I said, wait a second, you told us not to buy an alb, and now you're going to want us to design a vestment. Well, that first vestment that we had was an apron. And the whole class had the same apron because the first thing he wanted to teach us was about service. And that he did, because every diaconate function in the Archdiocese of New Orleans for the 5 years, we served at that function. Not only did we serve, you see, he really wanted to teach us service, we provided the meal also. And we cleaned up the place afterwards, from start to finish. We served the deacon community. He taught us that the first part of being a deacon was to serve. I still have my apron today. My wife still has hers also. Actually, we probably have them because she kept them. But anyway, a few years ago, I wrote an essay, and I couldn't find it. I tried. I wrote an essay talking about the gift of invisibility. And when I talked to someone about it, they said, oh man, that would be great. I would love to be able to come and become invisible and you know, you could see what people are talking about you and all of this kind of. I said, no, that's not the gift of invisibility. I said, invisibility can also be a curse too. Sometimes when we're in a room full of people and we feel like no one sees us. We feel alone in a room full of people. Or we're having a conversation with someone and someone else walks up and starts talking like you're not even there. They used to call that rude too, but makes you feel invisible. But the gift of invisibility is this. It's being able to make a difference and not looking for the credit. The gift of invisibility is having the ability to make a difference and not look for the credit. See, as human beings, sometimes we want to be praised for what we do. The challenge is to be able to do things and not look for that praise. See, the reward is not in this life, it's going to be in the next. And as Catholic Christians, we need to learn how to be invisible when we serve. In today's gospel, we hear the story about James and John, and they go to Jesus, and they kind of demand what they want from Jesus. Now, I'm going to tell you, I don't know anyone that would pray and go tell Jesus what they want. Do this for me. Most of us, hopefully, ask, Jesus, please help me. Jesus, please do this for me. We don't demand that Jesus do anything for us. Because you see, when James and John did this, Jesus told them, hey, yeah, okay, can you do what I do? There's a price. He said, can you drink of the cup that I drink? In this gospel, it doesn't say it, but in another gospel, it says, can you drink of the cup of suffering that I will drink? Can we do that? Can we drink of that cup of suffering like Jesus did for us? He said, can you be baptized in the baptism that I will receive? Can we do that? You know, we want to be disciples of Jesus Christ. Well, we have to be able to be able to fulfill. We have to be that image of Jesus, which means that we have to do what he did. And he surrendered everything for us. He suffered for us so that our sins could be forgiven. In the movie The Passion of the Christ, there's a really powerful scene, but it's really quick. It passes by fast, and a lot of people miss it. I did, until someone pointed it out. And the scene is when Jesus gets to Calvary, and he falls to the ground with the cross. If you ever watch that movie again, I want you to notice that the guards don't pick Jesus up and put him on the cross. Jesus picks himself up and crawls to the cross. You see, he did it for us. He did it so that we could be saved. Of course, he was crucified for us, right? This is what he's telling James and John. You have to be willing to surrender everything. Can you do that? Jesus crawled to that cross and was baptized in the blood and suffering of crucifixion. Of course, we don't have to do anything extra, right? We don't have to. Of course, he told us we have to pick up our cross and follow him. So I think there's a little bit more. You see, he's telling us that we need to surrender. We need to become the slaves of those people around us and serve in a way that imitates Christ. And if we can, to do it invisibly. You see, I know people, especially during this time in our lives, there's a lot of service that can be done. And I know those people that that do serve, that are out there serving, that don't want to be recognized, that just want to help because they see the hurt. And you see, not all of us can go out there and physically do things, right? So we can pray, those that can't physically do it, we can pray for someone. We can pray for those people that are doing the service. I'm actually going to give you a challenge today. I'm going to give you a challenge to pick someone in your life and pray for that person for 30 days. Pick someone in your life and pray for that person for 30 days. Don't tell them that you're doing it. And watch the difference in 30 days. Don't stop praying for everybody else, but pray specifically for one person. And watch the difference. You see, that's what we're called to do. See, and if we don't tell them, we get to do it invisibly. We get to do that challenge. To be those invisible people that make a difference. And not looking for the credit. We can make a difference in someone's life. You see, because we're all called to serve. We're all called to surrender. And husbands, I want to let you know something. Your wife is not here to serve you. You're here to serve her. Ladies, don't get too excited because your husband's not here to serve you. You're here to serve him. And children, you're here to serve your parents. Your parents are here to raise you to be good people, to teach you about Christ and how to be a good person. But we all have to surrender in service to each other. Can you imagine how this world would be if everyone started putting someone else first? If we just stop looking for the credit when we do something. See, when I ended that essay, I closed it with saying that one of the most difficult parts of the gift of invisibility is that the more of a difference you make, the harder it is to be invisible. Because the more of a difference you make, the more people are going to see what you're doing. And the harder it is to be invisible. Can we drink of the cup that Jesus drank from? Can we be baptized in the baptism that Jesus was baptized? Jesus is calling us to be his disciples. He's telling us what it's going to take. The God of the universe came here to be our slave, to die for us, so that our sins may be forgiven. How much are we willing to sacrifice for him? How much are we willing to sacrifice for our neighbors, for our family and our friends, and for those people that we don't even know? How much are we willing to surrender? Can we drink of that cup? Can we be baptized in the baptism that Jesus was baptized?